I know you have been waiting for this episode of Hoard Less, Sell More. One of the biggest questions that handmade sellers have is, how do I price my products? Too low and you don't make a profit. Too high and your beautiful work just sits there on a shelf unsold. So, today we're going to break this down in a very simple way. I really want to focus on giving you strategies that make it easy for you to price your products regardless of what you are selling. We're going to talk about the psychology of pricing, how to use bundles and discounts to boost your sales, and how to adjust your pricing depending on the economy or the location that you're in, geography. There are different factors that you're going to want to consider. So things that I would price my stuff at may not match what you would price the exact same item depending on how and where you're selling. So pricing isn't just numbers. It's an emotion. It's a feeling that we get. Customers will feel a price before they rationalize it. 19.99 feels cheaper than $20, even though there's only a penny difference.
Let's play a quick game. I want you to comment below with the first price point that you notice on this screen. Was that price the best price? Or was it just a noticeable price because it had an odd number or something noticeably different?
There are different types of pricing psychology that you can utilize. You can use the 10.99 or 19.99 method. You can do 97 versus 99 at the end. I also would urge you, especially if you're selling in person, to consider pricing at the exact dollar. That is much easier. And if somebody has a $20 bill in their pocket to spend at a craft fair, that will be more likely for them to spend. It's also a lot easier for you to make change if you need to. Using these small psychological cues makes your products feel more approachable. One of the biggest things you want to think of is having some sort of consistency in your pricing and also having some different pricing tiers. You're going to want to have some lower priced items, mid price items, and higher price items, and that will allow you to reach multiple types of customers. Some may only be able to spend maybe $5 or $10, where some other ones might be willing to spend that $20 to $30, especially if they're buying a special gift. Let's talk about some different ways that you can create those tiers, as well as some consistency in how you decide to price your items. Pricing psychology doesn't just work with those 19.99 kind of prices. It also works when you're considering different numbers just as the full dollar. For example, threes and sevens can have a really great pricing psychology to them as well. It's a non-rounded number, so it feels more thoughtful. It allows that customer to think that you've really put a lot of thought into exactly how you want to price this item to make sure that they are getting a good deal and you're getting your money's worth. Odd numbers really do create curiosity. We know this when we are looking at displays or when you're doing a vignette. Odd numbers are what we really focus on, right? Sets of threes, fives, sevens. So using those odd numbers can be very effective when you're looking at pricing as well. You might want to consider having items priced at either $43 or $17. Looking at pricing from that perspective, let's consider different ways that you can price your items besides the generic $5, $10, $15, $20. Because some of those mid-range prices in between that 5, 10, 15, 20 may be a better price to kind of price your item, but also allow you to offer some of those bundle discounts. The next thing we're going to talk about is bundle discounts. So you want to make sure that you have that offer too, because when you consider how a bundle discount works, it's buy more, save money for the customer, but buy more and you sell more for you. So it kind of is an everybody wins kind of deal. When you're thinking about pricing, consider what you would do if you were going to take that item that you are pricing and make it a bundle.
If you sold a product at $10 each, what would you do if you wanted to sell two? But if you sold something at $8 each, two for 15 would save the customer a dollar. However, an $8 item at three would give you a $4 discount if you sold three for 20. I like this kind of deal.
There are different options you have here. You can do a bundle discount where it's buy five, get one free, for example. Or if you're at a craft fair, you could say buy one for $8. Or you can have three for 20. So that saves the customer $4, but you've just now made $20 instead of only $8 that that customer might have bought instead if they didn't know that there was that bundle deal.
Here are some other pricing options if you want to do a bundle discount, and just consider what that would look like not only for your profit, but also for your customer.
You can also consider offers if you don't necessarily want to mark down the price. You can offer a free gift with anything that they're going to purchase. So there's different ways to go about bundling and also providing discounts that don't necessarily take money out of your pocket, but it helps your customer get a good deal. Comment below, what would you do? I have done free gifts in the way of decoupage napkins or wood cutouts that go along with buy five deal that I have on my website for Connie Lines and Designs. If you buy 5 papers, you get a free gift. Sometimes I make them a surprise. Sometimes it's been like a piece of scrap wood. Sometimes it's been decoupage napkins. Sometimes it's been wood cutouts. I do something different all the time because you never know what will attract a new customer. Right now, it is a free gift and it is a surprise gift, but I can promise you that the free gifts are pretty good. So, if you want to look into that, I do have my website linked down below. All right, let's talk about some outside factors because pricing is not a one size fits all. You do need to take into consideration the location where you're selling. Something that sells for me at a certain price range might look different than somebody who might be selling at a craft fair, let's say in New York or in Texas or in California. And so you have to look at what the price range typically is in your area and make sure you're pricing your items comparably to what they would do. If you shop at a craft fair, if you go to different craft fairs yourself, you can look at some of the prices that people are charging and kind of get an idea. You can use some other ways of Google searching, like what good pricing would be. I think that at craft fairs, I mean, it seems as though around $20 is a great mid-range price for a lot of things. So having your items anywhere from $5 to $20, maybe 25 is a really great idea. Projects where you're using maybe more expensive materials to create them, I know that those things can go upwards of 50 to 60, even to $100, depending on what people are buying. So it is really going to make a difference what you're selling and what other people who are selling items similar to that might be pricing their items at. So make sure you're considering that when you are doing your own pricing and really taking that into consideration. And then most importantly, especially right now, people are watching their wallets a lot more closely right now due to our economy. We are in kind of in a situation right now where selling is going to be a little bit harder right now. You want to make sure that you're finding ways to price things so that you're still making a profit. I'm not saying suggesting that you don't make your profit, but make sure that you're finding ways to be a little more economical in how you're pricing and maybe how you're making your items and still maintaining the quality. I will always say maintain the quality, but in a way that allows you to price things a little bit better for your customers. The economy is always going to shift, so we may always have to shift how we price items depending. So that's just something to consider when you're looking at pricing, especially when you're doing like local craft fairs. Online, it's going to look a little bit different. Your pricing is going to be a little bit different, and we will talk about that, how that looks if you're selling online versus selling at a craft fair.
Let's put this into practice. I have these tea towels that I got off of Amazon in bulk and some cutting boards that are made of bamboo that I also got off of Amazon. I'm going to bring these together to put together a kind of gift set that people could buy at my upcoming craft fair. I am using the Christmas Post stamp set by IOD. This is part of the new 2025 holiday release, and I'm going to be stamping the little girl with the sign that says Christmas tea and the frame that goes around it. I am using IOD ink, and I will be stamping it in 4 different colors. Once that is done, I'm going to heat set my ink and then fold these towels into a size that would be comparable to the cutting boards I'm going to pair it with. I wanted to keep this project relatively simple so that I could batch things out and also ensure that I can appeal to a variety of customers. I'm going to be using my laser engraver to engrave just a little Christmas tree along with a star onto each of the boards. I use some hemp oil or tung oil to seal it in. This also just ensures that everything maintains its food safe ability. And then I bring everything together using these shower rings, or sorry, curtain rings that I got from my mother-in-law, but I found these other ones off of Amazon that are pretty similar to what I have. Here's how everything looks all pulled together with some ribbon. Let's talk about pricing. As I mentioned before, I got all of these off of Amazon and I did get all of these items in bulk. I did a little math to figure out the cost of each item that I would be selling, and that comes out to $4.33 per gift set. You take into consideration the materials, time, and the markup percentage that you want to earn for your profit. And also consider the fair price that you would think you would pay if you were going to be buying this item yourself. Comment below, what would you charge your customer for an item like this? I'm thinking $17 each or two for 25. But I would love to get your thoughts on this. Now, selling online is a little different for me. I do tend to prefer having those 95, 99 kind of numbers. You'll notice that that's kind of what I went for when I was looking and shopping on Amazon to purchase some of the materials I used for my project. When I do my pricing, I typically use 95. For some reason that just attracts me the most. I think it looks clean and I typically will use that price range. So if I was going to be pricing that item that we just made for my website, I would probably look at $16.95 for the little gift set. I think we all agree that pricing is hard. Finding the right price is something that is challenging and takes practice. However, there are some things that increase the value of your items, which can help you drive up that price a bit. That's going to be in next week's episode when we talk a little bit more about how to display and photograph your items. If you are interested in some more examples of how to price products, I do have this other video that will be very helpful for you.